educators. We are here for you. Like our whole goal is that you are successful in your aesthetic business, and however we can help you with that, that is what we are here to do. And we love to do it together because we just love each other.
I know, right?
All right, Wendy, go ahead and pop into the next slide there. So us at Alexander's here, who we are, if you are not familiar with us, we are here to provide the professional esthetician with supplies, customer service, and obviously education. We very much believe in continued education. We believe in having the best products available for our estheticians. We have the two locations, one in Colorado, one here in California where I'm located. We ship all over. You're also always welcome to come into the office if you are near us. We do a lot of education in-house and online as well. All right, next. Thank you. I am Tiffany, like she said. You will see all of my hair changes throughout the years as Alexander's educator here. I've been actually an esthetician for 24 years. I started in college while I was actually in college. I started in the state of Massachusetts, moved back to California, had to go back to school. I've owned my own business since 2005. I learned to sugar, I want to say it's been almost 10 years now. So it's been a great add-on experience for me to add into my business and obviously be able to offer something else to my own clients.
And I'm Shannon O'Brien. I am the passionate founder of Love2Sugar. I am not shy, just like Tiffany. However, Tiffany has the cool color hair. I am not that brave. So I just have a big personality instead. I have been an esthetician for nearly as long, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. Gosh, I started sugaring 14 years ago, and I really just let me back up and tell you all that I actually have been an Alexander's Aesthetics customer for the last 20 years. So I used to drive down to Burlingame from my day spa and purchase all my products with C and Farhana. And I would have my little shopping basket and I would grab all my supplies and knew nothing about sugar back then. And it's just the coolest thing to come full circle and work together. So it's an absolute honor to be here. So if you need anything sugar, both of us have your back. And we are going to be walking through this sugar series with all of you because we've really kind of clicked in together their resources and our resources to really provide you, I think, a dynamic combo. So hands-on, online, we got you covered.
Yep. So our partnership here is we go through, what is body sugaring? A lot of us actually don't know, right? Why we would choose Sugar of the Nile, how you're going to become a certified sugarist, and how our sugar series partnership works. That's what we're going to go through this morning so that you have an understanding of kind of why we've partnered and how that's going to be extra beneficial for you guys.
What is body sugar? I think that one's me, huh, Tiff?
Yep, that's you.
It is so simple and has made the biggest change in my business. It is just lemon, sugar, and water. That is it. That beautiful little amber ball of sugar is used at room temperature. It's actually just a paste that we make out of lemon, sugar, and water. I don't make it. Sugar of the Nile makes it, and then we teach it. And what we do, we're going to talk about that in a moment. We slide the hair out with the direction of hair growth, which is opposite of wax. So if you have been a waxer for a really long time, it's going to take your brain a minute to kind of change which direction you go. It's like driving on the other side of the street. But as soon as you get it, you'll absolutely see the reason why we do it the way we do. And my clients and Tiffany's clients have truly been able to experience smooth, long-lasting results. It is safe for sensitive skin. I am so proud to say that we have had it included in oncology curriculum. So when the Oncology Institute and various organizations that teach about sensitive skin and medically sensitive skin, we have had the ability to jump into their curriculum, and they now see that sugaring really is a great alternative for those of your clients that come to you and say, oh, I can't get sugared, or I can't get waxed, I get little bumps, or I can't get waxed, I'm too sensitive. So now we have an answer for them. And especially with all the COVID lockdown kind of spotlight that's been put on the treatment rooms, sugar is inherently antibacterial and sanitary. And it's very, very clean product, and it's less mess for you in the treatment room. So we'll walk through that as well. So who can sugar? You need to be a licensed esthetician or cosmetologist. And also beauty school students can learn how to sugar, obviously. They just cannot practice on clients. They can't work on paying clients until they're licensed estheticians or cosmetologists. It's a little bit different in 1 or 2 states. Obviously, it depends on check with your state on your regulations, but mostly it's licensed estheticians and cosmetologists can perform the service on clients. And we highly recommend that you get certified, because we're going to want to make sure that you are proficient in the skills. We make it look so easy, don't we, Tiff? And then we forget how long we've been doing it. And we realize that you want to learn the proper theory and technique so that you can be an amazing sugar pro like us. And so getting certified will take you there.
Yeah.
So how do we do this? It is famously called the mold and flick. And what we do is we use our hands with a glove, no sticks or strips needed. And we just roll that sugar. We just slide it right over the skin, no pressure. It's a very light touch. We mold that sugar, it seeps down and wraps around the hair, and then we flick the hair out with the direction of hair growth. So what is great about that is, first of all, that sugar that's on that arm is at room temperature. So it's not going to burn the client or cause any undue inflammation or redness or swelling. And it's just the ability to use that same ball on the same body part over and over again is super cost efficient as well.
The nice thing about the temperature portion is there is literally zero chance of you ever being able to actually burn a client with the paste, because you won't even be able to get the paste out of the container to the client with it being too hot. So there is zero chance of ever burning a client, right? And we've all had that, like, oops, our wax got a little too warm that day, or whatever the case may be there, which you cannot have. And let's be realistic, I still wax as well, so you can do both, but there are definite benefits, especially with those people who have been burned. If your clients have been burned before with wax, they're afraid of it a little bit. And there's no way to do that at all with paste.
You're right. I get clients that come in all the time that are nervous. Maybe they've had skin lifted on their eyebrows by another esthetician. I've had skin lifted on the labia before, and they've showed me their scars. And I actually will have them put their hand inside the sugar warmer and realize that it's just room temperature. Almost doesn't feel like it's on. The sugar warmers are different than wax warmers, and they actually keep that sugar just at room temperature. And it really helps that client to feel safe. And in turn, they're going to come back and back and back to you because of the client loyalty of just feeling safe. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so here's my carrot analogy. Do you want to give it, Tiff, or do you want me to?
No, I love listening to you do it.
I brought my carrot for those of you that can see me on the tiny little screen.
I steal it from her.
Okay, so this is the famous carrot analogy. I use this with my students, but more importantly, I use it with my clients. So I want you to steal this, okay? Steal my carrots. I'm happy for you to do it. So when I talk to my students and my clients, I explain that hair removal in general is like taking carrots out of a garden. Okay, I'll hold this to the side so you can see this. So there's our little carrots in the garden. It almost looks like a zoomed in like microscope on hair follicles, doesn't it?
Yep.
And so what we do is when we sugar or when we remove hair, we're pulling that hair out of the follicle, right? When we wax, we put the hot wax on with direction of hair growth. It shrink wraps around the green leafy part and yanks that hair against the direction of hair growth. We yank it out with the strip, or if it's hard wax, we yank it out obviously with the hardened wax. What that does is we run the risk of snapping off that green leafy part. That's that image to the right. So we run that risk of snapping off just the tops with that wax, and that leaves a whole carrot down inside the hair follicle with potential of growing funny, injuring the mouth of that follicle. And that's what causes ingrowns, one of the reasons that causes ingrowns. Okay. So when we shave, we just shave this green leafy part off. The orange part is still down in the follicle, which is why they feel the 5 o'clock shadow, because that carrot is still there. Okay. Now with sugar, we actually go, like we said before, against the direction of hair growth. So we scoop that sugar. I'm going to get my hand closer to the little thumbnail. We scoop that sugar up and underneath this green leafy part. We mold that sugar up underneath the green leafy part. And as we're doing that, it's seeping down and wrapping around the orange part. And when we slide it out or we flick it, so the mold and flick, when we flick that carrot out, it's the whole carrot is coming out with the direction of hair growth. So you can imagine it's in that follicle down there in the dirt. And when we flick that carrot out, it's going to just slide out. The hair follicle, like imagine when you're planting, there's dirt in the hole, right? You take your plant out and the dirt kind of just fills in the hole and becomes kind of the hole collapses and gets weaker. And so the follicle is less likely to grow as thick a hair the next time. So the hair will get thinner and thinner. So Wendy, if you'll show the next slide, the other produce that I like to talk about is onions. You can use this one too, Tiffany. So when we start with the very first time our client gets waxed or sugared, that hair is more like an onion. So we know the anatomy of a hair, right? It's got a bulb at the bottom, and then that onion is growing out just like the hair on your arms, your legs, your bikini, wherever, right? But the more we break down that onion or that carrot, the thinner that hair gets, and it becomes more like a scallion. So when I tell my clients, listen, you don't want me to keep pulling those bulbs out. The more you come in routinely, it's like sliding a scallion out of the same spot. And clients get that. They get that visual that they do not want to grow a bulb. And so they will come back, and that client loyalty is really what builds your business.
Absolutely.
I'm probably the only one that walks around the grocery store and takes pictures. Those are stock images. But I take pictures of carrots and onions. I like line them up on the produce aisle, and people think I'm nuts, but it's all good.
You're like, it's for educational purposes, I promise.
Yes, yes. So I want to, before you talk about Sugar of the Nile, I want to finish by saying it is very, very critical that you choose a sugar company. So you're going to get certified, and then you're going to choose Sugar of the Nile as your sugar company. It is very, very critical that you understand that Sugar of the Nile, companies like Sugar of the Nile, and Sugar of the Nile specifically, do a beautiful job of producing consistent sugar paste. It is professional. Comes from an insured, proper, clean manufacturing facility. They have perfected this recipe. So all of their pre and post products and all of their products in general I love the line. I use it myself. And when Wendy and Tiffany and I got together, we really, really love what the company stands for. And Tiffany will talk about that in a minute, but it is critical that you don't make this paste at home, because a lot of people will, YouTube it and say, how do I make my own paste? I'll save money. Well, you won't be insured if you're using paste that you made from home. You cannot get that product consistent. And trust me, I'm going to save you a lot of time if you go with a professional sugar line like Sugar of the Nile. So that's my soapbox. So take it away, Tiff.
I mean, it's like everything else, right? Like, we want to make sure that all of the products that we use on our clients are professionally made and that we know where they come from. One of the one of my biggest pet peeves personally is that when you're asking an esthetician what type of X, Y, and Z do you use, and people are like, I don't know. And you'd be actually surprised at how many people I run into that aren't sure what type of products they actually use a lot of the time. But why do you want to choose Sugar of the Nile? Well, I'll tell you why we at Alexander's chose it. One of the reasons, much like Alexander's, which we love, and I've obviously shoved myself into this family, Sugar of the Nile is a mother-daughter company, just like Alexander's Aesthetics. Lynn Ingram is the one that actually founded the company in 2002. It's a Canadian-based company, so they are in Canada. And then her daughter, Emily, joined the team in 2004 as the educator. So Emily is actually one of the ones that I spent most of my sugaring time with to learn about the paste. And I've loved getting to work with her specifically because of her love for Sugar of the Nile, and her love for the paste obviously brought my love into it as well, because you can see that there's so much care that is put into this. They've expanded the company by adding, as Emily started to work a little more in there and got really involved in the making of the products, they started to add more products into the line, and it is only sold to licensed professionals, which I have very strong feelings about skincare lines being sold only to us. It should be for us. We know what we're talking about. You will get all of the information that you need in order to choose the correct pastes from Sugar of the Nile, mix the correct pastes together from Sugar of the Nile. They do have retail products too, which support you in your business. So as Shannon, we're huge advocates of obviously selling retail to make sure that the skin stays beautiful and hydrated and healthy when they come in your office and when they leave your office. So we are huge advocates of that. In part of our hands-on class, you will get all of this type of information. But that's kind of why you would want to choose Sugar of the Nile. And again, working side by side with Alexander's, I'm always here with you. You have Shannon with you as well. So you are very highly supported. Okay. So part of this sugaring series is our hands-on basics. So we go through the Sugar of the Nile product knowledge. So which paste to use on which body part. So if you're a waxer, just like your waxes, you choose a hard wax based on a body type, maybe a strip wax or a type of strip wax based on that body part. It's the same thing with paste. There's different types of pastes for different body parts, for different humidities, things like that. How to mix them so you can physically mix them together to help you be more successful in your treatment room. And we go through all of that. Tricks to becoming unstuck, because that is a common thing that you will run into in the very beginning. And then your actual more hands-on supporting what you've already gone through with Shannon for the most part. Go into the next slide. And then the next portion is your Brazilian, because I know everybody wants to learn a Brazilian, but in order to, because I'm not going to lie to you right now, that is the second most highly sought after in my own office. That's the second highest revenue paying service that I offer. The other one's actually a facial, so it's not in competition with any hair removal, but Brazilian is what you want to learn, but you have to understand and be really good at the basics before you get into the Brazilian. So our Brazilian hands-on is a review of your basics, a review of your product knowledge, because again, once you actually start to play with things, you end up with a little bit more questions. We do a Brazilian demonstration, and then you are doing the hands-on. So you receive a Brazilian and you give a Brazilian. I'm a very big believer in, even if you don't normally get Brazilians or you don't normally do your eyebrows or your legs or whatever the case may be, you want to have that experience so that you can explain that back to your client. Next slide, Miss Wendy.
I love this one. This makes my heart happy. This little roadmap. All those little sweet lemons. Really, this is how you do this. And I so wish that 14 years ago, I had a map like this, because I got a 2-day training by a company, and I couldn't sugar when I was done. I had no follow-up support. They just like handed me some products and sent me on my way, and I didn't have help along the way. So this is your roadmap.
Here you
Okay,
go.
first of all, you're going to get certified. There is a link that Alexander's Aesthetics will send you. You're going to get certified through that Alexander's Aesthetics link. What will happen is when you sign up for that, they will actually send you a kit. You're going to get their kit separate. So you're going to get all the Sugar of the Now products that you need. And she's going to talk about that in a minute. Then we will certify you at Love2Sugar. So everything is online. You can go at your own pace. You can watch the videos over and over and over again. I highly recommend you put your laptop or your phone, and you will hear me talking about drop your wrist and flick and lighten up your technique. And it's all HD, well-produced videos. It's not me with my phone saying, hey guys, watch me sugar, right? This is not a YouTube video. This is a professionally done curriculum where we teach you theory and technique so that you can build upon that. Okay. Then you will get certified and you will become a official sugarista. And then you will perfect your skills with Alexander's Aesthetics. Now, I will tell you, once a month, you're going to get live coaching online with me. So if you are watching this and you are not close to a Alexander's facility, that's fine. We've got you. We will still help you perfect your skills. But if you are able to get to the hands-on training, you're going to perfect your skills in either Burlingame or Colorado. And that really helps you practice that hands-on coordination. Okay. Then you have some options. We have hands-on advanced training with Love2Sugar. You should already be listening to the Sugar Show podcast. All you have to do is ask your Spotify, The Sugar Show, and you'll see my crazy face on there with a ball of sugar in my hand. And we have advanced certification and we have business coaching, because it is so critical once you learn how to sugar, how to manage all those clients that you're going to get and all that money that you're going to make. So it is very critical that we help you to market this, that we help you to organize and plan your business. And even if you're an employee, can take advantage of this at your fingertips and online training. And then for hands-on, again, you can go back and do the Brazilian class. You can work with Tiffany and the trainers at Alexander's to really perfect maybe blending your paste, tips and tricks, how to get unstuck, how to do eyebrows better. There's so many things that Tiffany and the team can help you with. And then at the end of this is sweet success. And I really do encourage you to listen to the Sugar Show, because we have success stories. We have sweet success stories. That's a lot of S's. We have sweet success stories that are people just like you and me that started terrible at sugar and built their business to 6 figures, and they can take care of their children. I was working part-time doing this because it laid that foundation, and I could count on that income. Even back in a recession, when I started doing this back in 2009, I was able to sugar and people didn't take it out of the budget. So now is the time. If your books are not filled right now in the summer, they should be. This is a way to do that. It's a way to start the fall super, super strong. So follow this path. I promise you that by just taking the baby steps towards that sweet success by hands-on and online training, you will be shocked at just how it changes your business and how it changes your client's skin, to be honest, because by using these proper products, you're not going to burn their skin. Think about faces. Think about all those people that say, oh, I can't get my face done. I break out or I get red. You have an option for those folks now. Think about those people that are like, oh, I just started taking this medication. I can't wax anymore. You have sugar in your hands now that you'll be able to work with them. So we are here. I wish there was a Shannon and a Tiffany back in the day. There was a Wendy. I was able to get all my supplies with Wendy and C. There was a Wendy and there was a C, but they didn't have sugar back then. You know, we didn't have the support of sugar. I didn't even know what it was way back then 20 years ago, and it was around. So now you have all of these resources available to you, and this really is the roadmap to get that done.
And we did this way because there are definitely, again, you may not live in California, Colorado. You may not be able to get to either of our locations. So we also really found the value in the online portion of this because there's a lot to understand. As a successful waxer, I had a really hard time. It was nothing about this was easy because your brain works very differently. We are taught differently to how you prep the skin differently. You're like, oh my God, I don't even know where to start. And with the online, you can just replay, 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 right? And so there's so much value in being able to do that. So by the time you would get to me and the hands-on, you have an understanding of the whys and the hows. What we also found was not everyone can do everything online. I love, we're very tactile people. So that extra little bit of help that I can give you, I can help you send your videos to Shannon. I can help you video your things that you need to send to Shannon, right? And if you're having a hard time finding people, for your models and things like that, right? We as a community can help each other. That's kind of the point of then that portion of the hands-on. And we do have it for both in California and in Colorado as well. My counterpart in Colorado, Trini, is amazing. So we found the value in being able to do both so that we can truly help you get through that very frustrating first portion of trying to get the paste out of the container and not dripping it down your arm, throwing it on. You will throw it on the wall. You will throw it. I mean, I threw it on my own face. I threw it. I still find it amazing and very awesome. One student threw the paste so far across the room, it landed inside of my purse. And yeah, it was pretty rad.
You know, the beauty of that, Tiff, I do want to address that. The beauty of that is all it takes is water and a washcloth. Sugar is water soluble. We didn't mention this earlier. No. Sugar is water soluble. She could literally wipe that out. I had been transporting sugar in the back of my car, and one of the jars had tipped over, and I had it on the floorboard, and it tipped over and soaked into my carpet on my floor of my car. And I was able to pull up the bulk of it and get it steam cleaned, water and steam, and it came right out. So if you get some sugar on a spot, maybe on their eyebrow, and you're like, oh gosh, I don't want that there, wipe it off with water and a washcloth. If you get sugar in their hair, oh my gosh, how many of you gotten wax in a client's hair before, right? You don't have to cut it out. You can just water and a washcloth, take it right out. Wiping down, cleaning your room is so much faster with sugar. There's no strips and sticks. I use a tiny little garbage can that just holds my little glove and a little ball of sugar. That's it.
Yeah. So you're never actually stuck.
Yeah, you're not stuck. You just wipe it off and try again. The client doesn't know any different.
So this is one of those where we very much believe in making sure that you take your time learning the skill. This is not the one that you get to pick up from the one class and then run out and immediately be able to offer it. This is that I'm going to fall in love with learning something new skill, and it's going to take you a minute, and be okay with that. I mean, again, Shannon was awful. I was terrible. And I mean, like and it's practice, right? But we are here to help you with that practice so that it doesn't take you as long as it took us to get better at it, yes. Right? So you can make money sooner than later. But that's the point of our coordination together. And again, making sure that you have the ability to have both with the online and that hands-on portion.
Absolutely.
All right, Miss Wendy.
Okay, so let me make sure that you're really clear and understand what you get to start. So if you start today and sign up with the link, and you'll see that, and this is not a hard sell, this is just helping you down the road, right? So what you're going to get is my whole admissions team. We have an admissions team that wraps our arms around you. You get high definition curriculum like we talked about. You are going to get the opportunity to get whatever package makes your heart happy of Sugar of the Nile products. Okay. So you're going to work with them to get your kit sent directly from Alexander's Aesthetics. I have live monthly perfection classes. We have an app that you can download so you can have it right in your hand and ask any questions that you need. You are not on an island. And then we also have a directory of sugaring professionals. So you can list yourself. Once you get certified, you can list yourself on there so that people can start to find you. And what's really important is that you understand that it is a community. We are all here for you. And I wish that I had an opportunity like this to have people wrap their arms around me and get me better, because I was terrible is an understatement. Like I almost stopped, but I did have, my my clients were so happy with the results. I just knew I had to get better and better. So this certificate that you're going to get is going to show, because you'll send us videos back, super easy. It's going to show that you have the skills to move to the next level, and you will have this for the rest of your life. And you can use it all my clients, all my students hang it on the wall, because they want people to understand that they didn't just like learn on YouTube and buy some products on Amazon. They really have gone through a professional program with a true curriculum to get you trained right. So this is the very first step. And that's what we do, is the online piece. Then you're going to get your kit from Alexander's Aesthetics.
Yep. So there's a couple of different kits. When you go through the website, there's all of the information there for you guys to choose. We do very highly suggest that you get the sugar warmer. You do not want to put your paste in a wax warmer, even on the lowest setting. It is too hot. So that is an investment, right? Like everything else, this is part of your investment. So the Sugar of the Nile, and again, you're going to understand how to actually use Sugar of the Nile itself. That's what you would get from us as well. So you don't necessarily even have to come to our hands-on portion. We at Alexander's are here to help you if you need help with, again, just the specifics of the product knowledge portion. That is what I'm here for, to help you guide you that way. The first portion here with Shannon is really going to get you to understand how to sugar and the basics of it.
Yeah.
And then go ahead,
I do
Wendy.
want to clarify, Tiffany, that if you can go back for just a second, I do want to clarify that this certification is, talk about price, it's the same cost as if you were to go straight to Love2Sugar, but you're going to get to customize which kit you want from Sugar of the Nile. So that's where the difference is. So if you go straight to Love2Sugar, you just get basic paste with that one. But when you come through Alexander's, you get all the Alexander's resources and supplies and all that good stuff, and you'll pick which one you want and move forward that way. So we'll save you some time. You don't need to go to the Love2Sugar website and see if that's a better deal. This is the same thing. It's just a partnership.
Yep. So our first class that piggybacks, if you sign up today for Shannon's online class, our first class is Monday, August 2nd. It's from 10 to 3. It's in both locations. And I obviously don't split myself. We have wonderful Trini that's out in Colorado that does the hands-on portion for this, and in California. So it's $199 words on Mondays, escape me, at 10% off of Sugar of the Nile for that day. So if you buy the basic kit and you need more paste, or you want to buy different paste, because again, we go through all of that, that is the day to do that. I like small classes. I really do. I want to get to know you. I want to make sure that I have enough time with each person. So we only have 6 spots for that class. You get through the product knowledge, again, perfecting that mold and flick. So if you are struggling a little bit with Shannon and she's giving you all of her feedback, again, you come into this class, I can physically help you with that. Again, we can help with that video for you to send off to Shannon so that you can get the go ahead to move to the next step with her. So with that hands-on, it's legs, underarms, arms. We're working on the bigger body parts. We want to make sure that the very first part of this is the mold and the flick that you get. Because once you get that down, everything else is cake. It's literally like anything else that you learn. Once you understand that first cleanse and those movements and that first facial, you're like, oh, I got this. I totally know how to like add the towel and take the product off. And once you get that portion right, things flow. So it's that same thing here. So it is a very slow moving and lovely day, but those are going to be what we really kind of cover. So again, you can move on to that next step with Shannon. So that is us. So we have our QR codes up there. If you want to follow us on Instagram, do all of those things. And again, you can go straight to our education link through the website and do all of the signups. So questions, let's get to it, Wendy.
There actually were not any questions, but if anyone has questions, I think we should have said that before, and I apologize. We can put that in the chat, and happy to, answer any of those questions for you guys. We did have just one person put in a question, but she's already signed up for the class, so that is great. So thank you, Heather.
Awesome. Are any of you already sugarists? I'm going to throw that out there. Are any of you already sugarists who are like, I have no idea what I'm doing yet? That's totally okay, by the way, if that's the answer.
Okay.
So again, the hands-on portion for you would be helpful, the in-person part.
One person said no, this is Heather, the one that's coming to the class. She said she is not a sugarist. She's a lifelong waxer.
Awesome. Well, don't worry, Heather, we got you. Again, you can I still offer both. My employee only likes to sugar, so that's what she does. When I go out of town, she will wax my clients, just mine, because she likes me enough to do that, but she doesn't love doing it. She will. Most of my clients are sugar clients, but I still offer waxing. So you don't necessarily have to not offer waxing any longer either. This is another really good option for your clients. It's very rare that you have clients go back to wax, but most that try sugar will continue to sugar. But again, it's not a bad thing to add to that menu to have. And I'll be also honest with you, myself, my employee, and I want to say I know probably 3 or 4 other sugarists maybe in my area.
Oh, it's such an amazing opportunity especially go look on the Sugar Network, type in your city and see who else sugars in your area. It's thesugarnetwork.com, and see who else sugars in your area. And if there aren't many, then what an amazing opportunity for you.
Yeah.
Number one.
This will build, and like Shannon said, this is that it doesn't matter what the economy is going to look like. People are coming in for their hair removal. Right. So,
you know what, I've been through the recession in 2009 and then this, last lockdown, and sugar is really what saved my life. There's an episode on the Sugar Show, 2 episodes actually, where I talk about this, where in times of inflation and recession, people will take a look at their budget, right? And they might say, oh, honey, like we got to slim down some of these expenses. They never take sugar out. They might take lashes out. They might take some of the more expensive things that they do out. Maybe it's nails. They will not take sugar out.
Yep.
They absolutely know that they cannot do what we do for them.
Yep.
And they want to keep that up because they have no razor burn anymore. Their hair, we talked about removing that carrot, right? Their hair is just fine, baby fine, and it grows back so much less dense. And so really, you have created that need. It's not just something they want to do, it's something they need to do. And they get their swagger back, they get sugared. They're not in pain when they get off my table. And there's just something about that swagger they get when they walk out of the treatment room.
And they can't do it themselves. They can't do it themselves. Everybody learned that through the pandemic, right? I don't know how many of all of my clients were like, how do you make paste? I'm like, I don't know. I don't make it. Good luck though. And how do you do it? And I'm like, not teaching you. Sorry. Like, do you know how long it's going to take me to teach you? And you're going to have to pay me so much money for that. So, again, that was one of those, like, can't do it yourself, good try.
Yeah. I don't even sugar my own self. I can't sugar my own Brazilian. I'm not that flexible.
No, definitely not. No. Sarah's got a good question.
Yeah, I was just about to say we have a question.
What's the difference between pricing, sugaring versus waxing? I personally charge at least $10 to $15 more for sugaring than I do for waxing. Yeah. So
You don't
hence
have
it's
to.
also, you
Yeah.
don't, but I do okay, let's talk about this. One, because of the area that I'm in, I am in the Bay Area on the peninsula. So my prices are, and they have to be more. So obviously pay for my life, but you want to look at your area that you're in. If you can get away with even $2 to $3 to $5 more, this is the thing that not everybody offers. So you have this chance right now to get in to where, again, like Shannon said, look at the area. You're not going to see that it's saturated. You're going to see there's little estheticians in your area, but it's not saturated with sugaring. So it's you have the ability to charge a little bit more if your area can handle that. I would absolutely do that. I'm also just an advocate of let's just charge more for our services because we're worth it. So there's that. But yes.
Tiffany, I want to bring up a point about marketing and marketing yourself and your services that you do. First of all, sugar is beautiful to watch, and all the benefits are easy to market, right? So you can say, hey, it's less painful, less ingrowns, less, no razor burn, ditch the razor. There's all these really great things that you can do. But if you stalk my Instagram or my Facebook, I have a brick and mortar store here just outside of Sacramento. It's called Sugar Mama's, shocker. And if you stalk that page, there's not a whole lot of promoting that I do. And that is because my word of mouth locally spreads the word. Here's what happens. Someone gets sugared by me and they go, I told you they get a swagger, right? And they go, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Even if it's like eyebrows, underarms, doesn't even have to be Brazilian, right? They go back and tell a few friends. They're having my number one career of clients is nurses. Because when they're done getting sugared, they go back to the nurses station and there's like 6 to 8 of them sitting around charting and doing whatever. I just got sugared. You got what? I got sugared. It didn't even hurt, right? There's this back and forth that then I get people drop their drawers and show each other their parts or raise their, tank top in their cube at work and go, look, I'm not even red. I just got my brows done. My brows aren't even red. Now you've got 3 new clients because they send people in. It's the easiest thing that that people can refer to their friends. And absolutely, my books are completely filled. We have a wait list, all from word of mouth referral. We still do some fun stuff on Instagram and things just to stay relevant. But for sugaring, it is the easiest way to spread the word about your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. People just Google sugar and you're going to pop up.
Yep.
Sarah's got another good question. Have you come across any reactions during your sugaring? Not that I can think of, to be perfectly honest with you. Those red-headed kind of see-through skinned clients, they might get a little pink for a minute or two, but I've never seen a reaction like that. I've never seen hives or irritation. You're going to get the regular.
You might see a histamine reaction, but that's pretty normal because that's this body's response, right, to hair being pulled out of follicles. You're pulling out thousands of hairs at once, and your skin screams, "Oh my God, histamine reaction!" And it just goes to protect itself, but that will die down over time. And we just use a little hydrocortisone soothing cream, soothing gel, things like that, and it takes care of it right away.
But the skin doesn't have that same, it's still warm to the touch, right? Because again, like Shannon said, you're still creating trauma to a certain degree, but it's still less traumatic for the skin. So any reaction that you might have would be cut in half too, time-wise. It's not going to last as long, I don't think, for the most part. But you've never seen, because a lot of people have reactions immediately to like the beeswax, pine resin. That tends to be what that waxing reaction is. But because there's none of that in paste, you're not going to get that same type of intense reactions, I don't think. I mean, histamine reactions, the histamine reactions, the histamine reaction. It doesn't matter what you do.
Sure.
But it's still, that time tends to be a little bit less. So
yeah, easily managed.
Oh, see, Miss Ashley, so true. I've been a sugar client for 9 years and wish I entered the business sooner. Don't worry, you're not behind.
Yeah, definitely look around. So one of the things that I recommend on that is because Ashley's already experienced it, she knows this is for her. I will tell you that my first thing I recommend that you do is go get sugared. So find someone in your area. You can, like I said, go to the sugarnetwork.com and see if anyone's in your area or just outside of your area. Even if you're not ready to get a bikini or a Brazilian, go get your brows done and experience what your customers will experience. And you will quickly see that you should get sugar certified. You'll quickly see that.
Yeah.
I got sugared once and realized, oh, I got to learn how to do this. Because if I can do it, I'm a big fat chicken. I'm a wuss when it comes to anything done to me. And if I can get sugared, any of your wussiest clients can get sugared.
Shannon, will you go into that chat room and add your Instagram handle in there?
Yep.
For the peeps.
Just add at Love2Sugar.
Yeah, I was just about to do that. Okay, great.
Oh, thanks, Wendy.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, like Shannon, I don't go on social media at all in any capacity. My employee has started doing that, but I haven't had to. That's not how I've needed to build, especially again, as the pandemic really threw that up there in the air with everyone to find a sugarist that was one open or just one in general. And then I kept all of them. And besides the fact that I'm all about quality instead of quantity. So most of my sugaring clients, I turned into facial clients. And so I don't have to see 15 people a day. I can see 6 or 4 and still do really well.
So I'm going to answer. Heather said she looked up Sugar Mama and went a little sideways. Yes, Sugar Mama does mean other things on social media, which is actually to my benefit because people do find it funny and they never forget my name. Yep. But you can really play off the sweet, sugary love. And the Sugar Mama is what my clients started naming me. When I first started sugaring
years ago.
And it's so I even have a funnier story really quick. I was just at the rodeo here in town and I volunteered, and even the mayor, because I was volunteering and helping at the gate and stuff, and you'd hear, "Sugar Mama, I need your help," from the mayor.
It was the easiest way to get your attention.
Yes. There was another question on here about how long a Brazilian service takes with sugaring. I will tell you that it's when you know how to do it properly, it takes a similar, if not less, amount of time if you do sugaring or waxing properly, right? We're not talking like 4 minutes, like throw it all on, rip it all off. We want to make sure that we're being kind to the skin and the area. So once I had a class actually ask me that, I said, okay, go ahead and time me. And I did a very first time Brazilian on the model that was on the table. And when I was finished, I said, okay, stop. And the girl looked down at her timer and it was 13 minutes for a first time. Now, I'm really good at it. So it does take practice and a whole lot of hands-on training to get to be where you can do a first timer in 13 minutes. But when you do sugar the right way, that hair slides right out of the skin. And I'm telling you, they put their pants back on and head about their business. They don't feel like they've just been massacred by hot resin. So something to really think about for sure.
It's like anything else, right? Your client that's been seeing you for 10 years for waxing is going to take you less time than that person that's never touched their bikini area ever. And it's still full of all of the hair that's ever been evolved down there. So it's going to take you, it can take you 13 minutes to 30 and that's fine. Our obsession with timing, which is very, very normal and I think appropriate, but also give yourself a little bit of break. Some people are just straight up going to take you longer. That's just how it's going to be. They're either taller, because I have a male client that comes in, he is like 6'4". It's going to take me longer to do a full body anything on that person than it does my little 5'8" guy, and the 5'8" guy has actually got more hair, but there's size, how much,
absolutely,
all of that is always, take that into consideration. So don't beat yourself up if you're not getting everything done in like a 4-minute time span. It's fine.
We do make it look easy. We don't want to do 4 minutes. We'll break hairs at that point. No.
No.
Can I see the other questions? Do you want me to read them out?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I lost where I was.
There's one that says, how long did you ladies sugar before becoming instructors?
Go ahead, Tiff.
I don't know the answer to that question. I have to think about it, to be honest with you.
I sugared for, I want to say 2 years before I became an instructor. That was a long time ago, which is why we're having a hard time remembering. But really, to be an instructor, it depends on your state, but it also really, you have to have an understanding of teaching curriculum, and teaching people how to do sugar is a whole lot different than actually doing the sugar. And I highly recommend that if the instructor track is where you're going, that you are doing this in your service for a full 2 years to experience all the things you can experience, so then you can turn your wisdom to your clients, right?
Yeah.
You have to know what it's like when someone farts in your face. You have to know what it's like when someone, I did say that, when someone is so heavy you can't get into their nooks and crannies. How do you do that? And so I recommend that 2 years really gives you the opportunity to experience all of the things in order to then turn your wisdom to someone else. A minimum of 2 years for sure.
Sarah, if you have questions about becoming an instructor, you can email Shannon and myself, and we can definitely chat a lot more with that, because that's a whole other ball of paste there, to become an instructor. Just in general, I think Shannon and I have very high standards of life, so
yes.
We but we love instructors. I love more of them that are wanting to give back to our people. So
Absolutely.
I love that question.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Sarah, hit us up.
There was some histamine follow-up questions on here. So I want to just, without going down a rabbit hole, because it sounds like maybe we should do a histamine class at some point.
Yes.
But really what you need to understand is a histamine reaction is the body's natural defense for anything that's kind of traumatizing the skin. So a bug bite, pulling hair out of follicles, any sort of like skin irritation is going to say
and have a histamine reaction.
Say that again.
They can have a cut on the skin.
Absolutely.
And get a histamine reaction.
It's the body saying, okay, I need to protect myself. All right. So if you're sliding hair out, you could potentially get a histamine reaction. If you get a bug bite, you get a histamine reaction, or maybe not that day. Maybe your hormones are flying. Oh, here we are. Maybe your hormones are really raging and you get that bug bite and now you have a crazy histamine reaction. Maybe you've been using odd products with a lot of acids in them and you try to wax and your skin says, nope, too much. So yes, someone had said you can wax one leg and sugar one leg and have a histamine reaction on both legs. What we're experiencing is less redness and irritation and inflammation from not using hot resin and using room temperature product, sliding that hair out in the proper direction, making sure that the carrot is sliding out. You're going to have less irritation and inflammation that way. You might still have a bit of a histamine reaction, but I find that by the second time someone does it, they don't have it again. The body goes, oh, I know that.
Yeah, they know what that trauma is like.
I know what that is.
If you don't know what a histamine reaction looks like, it's basically swelling almost. You can see that the body is kind of swollen is the best description. Maybe you have a better one, Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's normal. It is. You did not break your client. That is just how they are. So don't worry. I know we're always so concerned that we've broken them in some way. No, you didn't. I promise.
Right. But it is good to take a histamine class and educate yourself on histamine reactions, especially as an esthetician. Even if you decide to never do hair removal, you need to understand everything about the skin. So if you can make sure that you can answer that client's question when they call and go, oh my God, look, I'm having a reaction. You can calmly say, that's actually a histamine reaction. It's normal. Your body says, and you can start telling them the story. Now you're the pro, right? Now you're the one that's like, oh yes, that happens. It's totally common. And here are the steps you can take to make it better. And if we keep sugaring you, that'll happen less and less.
Yeah.
I will have
Yeah.
more faith in my esthetician for facials. I tell people all the time that if you can have a good handle on hair removal, where your client trusts you, your client knows that you're knowledgeable, and you can answer all of these questions, I'm more likely to come to get a facial from you also. So it is a great gateway for, say you've just met someone at a party and you're like, you know, why don't you come and I'll sugar your eyebrows and you can experience my place. It's a low ticket item. They can come in and get their brows done by you. Doesn't cause any redness or irritation. And while you are sugaring their face, you can then discuss with them their skincare needs. Guaranteed they will book that facial with you for the next appointment.
What I do, I was looking to see, I don't have one up by my desk. At our space, I give, especially first time clients, I have a little rec card basically that has your do's and don'ts and what to look for just in case, because they're not going to remember everything you tell them. So we hand that to them after their first appointment. Don't forget to exfoliate, don't forget to hydrate, book your next appointment. And then here are all the things you don't want to do, and here are the things to look for. Because that way, then again, you're giving that extra. That's just a random side thought, but that also helps take that fear from your client of like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And then they can look back at their card like, oh, okay, I'm not going to die. We're good. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. This doesn't mean I'm allergic to sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to answer a question as well, because I get this a lot in other classes. People ask about allergies or diabetes, because obviously you're not supposed to ingest sugar necessarily as a diabetic. There are no contraindications for physically putting sugar on the skin. Now, pre and post, you have to be careful of. I have some clients that they come with their face clean, and then I powder them because they just can't take any sort of anything on their face. And then we want to make sure that in the treatment room, we are just super mindful of the products that we're using post, because it's possible that you sugared them, no reaction, everything's fine. The thing they're actually reacting to is what you put on them after. So something to think about, that people aren't allergic to sugar, and diabetics, it's about ingesting sugar. It's never on the skin long enough to cause any sort of reaction. We can sugar pregnant women. We can sugar people that are medically sensitive with a doctor's okay, obviously. We just don't want to sugar over broken skin. We can sugar guys, you know, except for their heads. Everyone asks if I can sugar bald head, which we cannot do. So hopefully that answers your questions. These questions and so many more can be answered through our online class, through the Perfection hands-on classes. You'll come up with new questions along the way, and this team is really ready and here for you. This is really cool teamwork we got going here.
Yeah, thank you so much, you guys. Really appreciate the time. And, you know, I just wanted to add in, like, as a business owner, not an esthetician, the one thing I hear most about sugaring is that it's really hard to learn, and they don't feel like they get the support. They don't know who to go to because not a lot of people are doing it. So this is why we have partnered with Shannon, because she really can provide that like community and support that you really, really need to be more successful. We have awesome trainers and great on-staff estheticians, but it's nice to have that ongoing community afterward as well. So just wanted to add that in, because that's the one thing that we do. You know, we have looked at, like, how can, if people are taking our classes, why aren't they sugaring after? And that is the main comment, is they don't feel necessarily connected, don't know who to go to for questions, or, you know, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, thank you both. Everybody, when I end the webinar, there is a little evaluation that's going to pop up. If you can just take a minute, 30 seconds to do it. It's very fast, but it really does help us. We do
be honest.
Yes, be honest. We actually do look at the results. Visit our education page on our website, because we do have a lot of upcoming classes and webinars. We're back at it, and it feels really good to have the education rolling again. And thank you, Tiffany, for everything, for always being here, and Shannon for your wonderful collaboration with us. And hope you all, thanks. I'm going to try to do that, but I can never do. Oh, there, I did it right. I'm always like, I feel like I do it. But thank you, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful week and hope to see you again in some Alexander's Aesthetics education. Bye,
Have a blessed
all.
day.
Bye. Have a beautiful week.